Hi YouTube, this is another video I decided to record in order to demonstrate a pretty rare item, the Scubamaster 7K52 Seiko diving watch. It's a watch from the 1990s, this particular example is from 1997. It was a watch that had the first world's analog diving depth meter indicator. It's a pretty rare item. It has a 7K52 movement. This is the titanium version. There is also a stainless steel version with the same movement, the 7K52. And that's about it. There are no other Seiko watches with this particular caliber. Now this is quite a large watch by any measure. It measures around 45 millimeters across without taking this large crown into account. But since it's exclusively made out of titanium, it's pretty, well, I wouldn't say exactly light, at around 140 grams, but it's very wearable. And with this large size, I think that it will be a joy, pretty one, anybody who can rock a largish watch on the wrist, but do not really like the weight of the steel version. I think the steel version is around 200 grams. That's quite a large change from this one. Now this is a very unique watch, and a watch of extreme build quality, and you'll see that as we go through not just the functions, but the particulars of this watch regarding the quality. Now, the lag size is 22 millimeters wide. It tapers quite a lot down to 18 millimeters to this pretty standard fair Seiko ratcheting diving clasp. People say that it's the Marine Master style clasp. It's not exactly accurate, but yes, you can say that. It's pretty easily unfolded. The case, as I said, the entire watch is made out of titanium. It's a pretty strange mix for a diver, to be honest, because you don't really see a lot of diving watches with gold trimmings, indexes, buttons, and of course gold bezel insert. Now, why would anyone do this? Well, first of all, it looks extremely nice, this color combo. The dial is a deep dark reddish, which is pretty hard to show off if you are not exactly the right angle. But the combination of the gold versus the gray titanium is pretty good. And you have to keep in mind that this watch is pretty much a technology demonstrator. Seiko produced this watch just to prove that it can. It was not really supposed to be a toolless watch, although it performs pretty well. I guess they were more interested in showing off, and they incorporated some pretty nifty tricks, and they spared nothing quality-wise. Let's see the back. It's the famous stamped Scubamaster branded case back. Screw down, no problem there, opening and servicing this watch, which is a good thing since it's a battery operated quartz movement. Pretty impressive here, unlike some laser etched case backs we've seen from Seiko nowadays. It seemed that they spared nothing back then. The bezel has a nice feel to it, 120 clicks. Light, but pretty sturdy. It won't turn on its own. Everything lines up pretty well. As you would expect, this was a very expensive watch in this day. I thought it cost around 140,000 yen. That's around 1,200, I think, dollars, $1,300 today's cost. Now, let's go into the dial for a second, because that's really the point where you can see not just the functions but also the quality of this item. First of all, let's see the little bits of quality that you can realize when a watch is well made or not. Now, there are no less than 5 hands, large hands that is, on this watch. There is obviously a pair of cathedral hands for the hour and the minute marker with Luminova, very well made. And there are 3, it's pretty hard to take hold of them, but there are 3 hands over here. There is the largest hand, which measures depth. There is a very thin hand, which measures maximum depth, meaning the depth that you reached during your dive, and it was the deepest that you went. And there is a narrow hand that shows diving time, the arrow hand here, which is how much time you've been underwater. And there's also, of course, a second hand with a nice luminous pip on the other hand, so that you can check your seconds even if you are submerged. There is, on 6 o'clock, there is a second sub-dial which mimics the position of the cathedral hands. This is for setting an alarm and also setting your entry time. You can see at a glance when exactly you entered the water. Now, it's not exactly when you enter the water, but rather when the depth meter started operating, and that's at 1.6 meters of depth. So it won't just start working if you're just swimming around, but it will start operating once you are actually skin diving or scuba diving. And of course there is another sub-dial here with a single hand. Is there somewhere? There it is. There it is. Which is the, I guess you can say, the centimeter dial, because it measures centimeters. If you are, let's say, on 3 meters and this index is at 2, then you have 20 centimeters of depth. So you are at 3.2 meters depth. Now, few points I have to make that show off the quality of this watch. The glass is sapphire, flat. AR is okay, it's decent. Now, there's a very interesting, I don't know how you can call it, maybe, I don't know, inner bezel. It's obviously non-rotating, but I guess you can call it an inner bezel for lack of a better term, at least not any term that springs to mind. The luminous indexes that are here, they are not applied, they are actually sandwiched in there, meaning that there's a lot of material underneath, and this is actually an opening that has been cut. And this shines pretty bright, even to this day, 20 years after the watch was manufactured. And you can see it here, it's just been exposed to simple daylight. And already, just by turning it against the sun, you can see that it lights up pretty well. Date is at between 4 and 5 o'clock. That's nice. And as you can see, the text, and all text really, on this dial, it's not painted, it's applied. And that's expensive to do. Seiko went all the way here. They didn't see it proper to focus, to cut down on costs like that. So every text you see is applied on the dial, the alarm bit, the depth time bit, all the numbers are applied. You have sandwiched Luminova indexes, and a feature that is quite genius. As you can see, there is a 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and you may be excused to think that there for a moment that denotes just minutes, but it's actually also the meter, the depth meter indicator. So Seiko have managed in this dial to have exactly the same numbers for both for meters and both for minutes. That's very clever. That's very clever right there. All the indexes are very well made. Very well thought out, crafted watch. Now there's a lot of buttons here. That's normal, I guess, for all the functions that this watch has. To set the time, you do what you usually do, unscrew the crown and set the cathedral hands to current time. When the crown is unscrewed to position 3, then you can use this button here to set the time on the secondary sub-dial, 1 minute at a time. There's also a fast forward. Thank God for that. This button here is the one that operates the depth indicators. This is a reset button. And this here is the sensor that regulates incoming pressure. So you have a very well thought out dial here, and one that reeks of build quality. The case looks very sturdy, and it's a testament to the very well built, very nice build quality, how it has virtually no marks on this example. Slight mark here, but very, very well keeping up with all the aids. There's the inevitable mark, unfortunately, on the bezel insert, and that's just a side effect of having a rose gold bezel insert. I mean, this thing probably scratches just by looking at it, which is, I don't know, a bit sad, I guess, but what can you do? It will scratch. There's nothing you can do with rose gold, at least I don't know if there's anything you can really do. If someone knows a tip to fix this up, please do tell. The bracelet, it's sturdy yet light. It's a two-tone bracelet with a small detail which is polished here, otherwise it's brass, titanium, G. There are a few marks, but you can pretty much easily clean those up with a Scotch-Brite pad if you're really pedantic about it. It doesn't really affect anything. There are drilled lugs, but only on one side. That's something that we've seen also in the Landmaster series. Well, I guess on one side is better than nothing. Well, I would prefer having them on both sides. Still, it's much easier to take out the bracelet and this. And of course, we have the fantastic stamped screwback case. Bracelet has some flex, something you may not be accustomed with higher-end Swiss models, but this provides with a very nice fit. And even if you can't find your exact fit, then you can just Open up the ratcheting clasp a bit. Nice and secure, and of course there are micro adjustments here. It's hard to imagine anyone really not finding a good fit for this one. And this is just a very, very nice watch to wear. I was really taken aback from that. I got this watch off a trade. Didn't really think much of owning it. I realized that it's a grail watch for a lot of people out there who will excuse me if it wasn't for me. But after handling it and wearing it, I really appreciated this design and how nice it looks on the wrist, how nice it feels. There's a slight curvature which provides with really nice comfort. The crown is unsigned. What can you do about that? No one's perfect, I guess. Otherwise, I'd say that's probably the only thing that Seiko might have done to increase build quality just by one notch. Otherwise, this watch is just perfectly made and executed. It really is a technology demonstrator. And let's cut a little bit down to wearing it for a second. Here it is on my wrist. I have an 18.5 centimeter wrist, that's 7¼ inches, and my wrist is perfectly flat, so I guess it was made for wearing those largest kind of watches. But this watch really feels light, yet sturdy. It's not feather light. I know a lot of people don't like extreme lightness on a watch, but 140 gram X say that's just about perfect for me anyway. It's a large watch, 45 millimeters across. You can really appreciate its size. The bracelet, however, tapering down to 18 gives it a pretty interesting look. I kinda like it. Not too sure if it would be better tapering down to 20, but that's not nitpicking really. Standard Seiko ratcheting clasp, as I said, a lot of micro adjustment room, pretty easy to find the perfect fit. I haven't really tried it on rubber yet. I'll try to find the original Seiko rubber for the SLD, although didn't look as if it was very comfortable one, so I guess any other 22mm high quality rubber will do. Very impressive watch. Very impressive watch. And because of the size of the dial, I think the cathedral hands really fit in well. I'm not too keen on cathedral hands, and while seeing this on photos, I was a bit worried that I wouldn't like it at all, but it turns out that cathedral hands are pretty good in this case because the dial is pretty busy, so the cathedral hands really stand out, and the gold trimmings also stand out under the sunlight, so you can discern them very fast, and that's a good thing because there's a lot of indexes on this watch, so they'd have to be somehow different in styling from the other silverish or white indexes. I guess they had to do them really on either gold or maybe orange. They did gold, so the bezel was gold and the buttons were gold, and it turns out that it was a good decision. While wearing the watch, you don't really notice of the slight imperfections it has due to the age. There are there, but the dial and the feel you get from this watch on the wrist is pretty much what it what it matters. You see in the legs that there's a slight polished surface there on the legs, and the rest is brushed titanium. Here font of titanium gray, then this watch is probably one of the best looking watches you may get an opportunity to wear on your wrist. Now these are not easy to come by. Like I said, they were technology demonstrators. They weren't really meant to be bullied around. I'm not too sure how many of them were sold. So although they weren't really limited editions or anything, since they didn't sell all that many pieces, their availability is rather low on the secondary market. Look at the depth of this dial here. It's amazing. And everything is really thought out. Really well thought out. You have functionality here, number one. Comfort is number two. And the rest follows. So, there you have it. I would appreciate any comments, questions. Please do. I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. There's the 7K52 manual available online. You can easily see that and see this beautiful watch, what it can do for yourself. I haven't mentioned that the watch also has an alarm function. If you're ascending from a dive too fast, you can set an alarm time, you can have the maximum depth. It has the 2 dive memory for the previous dive and the dive before that. But, I don't really see how many of the owners have actually used this watch as intended. Because it's just such a beautiful, beautiful desk diver, really. Yeah, I'm guilty on that account. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe for any more videos. And see you soon.